Hi, I'm Cameron, and I don't just read comics, I love them. On today's episode of Cameron Reads Comics, I'm just going to be telling you about some of the really awesome collectibles I got in the month of January 2021. So stay tuned and see what I got for you. The first two books I got in 2021 of January were actually variants. In fact, this entire month was a lot of variants, and so the first two that I guess I'm most excited about aren't the most collectible or expensive in my collection, but I was excited about them, and they are the DC Future State slate of Batman books. The first one is going to be the Nightwing by Nicholas Scott. Number one, I just think that this cover is beautiful, and I think the new look for Nightwing in Future State is really awesome. Actually, Nicholas Scott was a great choice for this story because, number one, her art is beautiful, but also, number two, it's kind of a meta thing that she's doing Nightwing because of the DC Legacy cover that she came out with for Nightwing, and it pretty much, she pictured his butt, and it blew up the internet. So this is his front side from Nicholas Scott, and it's awesome. So this was something I knew I wanted to pick up for some of those kinds of reasons. The next book I got from DC Future State was this variant for The Next Batman #2. This is the picture and the cover, variant cover that kind of blew up the internet about this series when you find out that it's one of Lucius Fox's kids that becomes the next Batman. So it's written by John Ridley, same director who did 12 Years a Slave. So this is actually kind of a really exciting book that's coming out. I guarantee that I'm going to be coming out with a review on this. So stick around. You're going to be seeing more of this title from me. But yes, this is the second one I got. Two DC variants that were kind of cool, kind of exciting. Now, when it comes to Marvel books that I got this year, I picked up 2 copies of Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil, number 25, but it's not the first print, it's the second print. I picked up this story because, number one, obviously, it's the first issue that we have the Elektra Daredevil costume. No, that's not a spoiler for the arc. Honestly, there's a lot more way cooler things happening, but I just thought Marco Ciccetta's art on this cover was really beautiful, and I wanted to make sure I grabbed one for me and then one for speculation purposes. That's just how I do it, but I was really excited about this series, and I'm actually really glad I got those issues. So the next books I got were a bunch of graphic novels and trades. I am a trade collector as well as a single issue collector, so these two are actually, they kind of go hand in hand. Number one, which I got for a ridiculous steal, Walking Dead Compendium number 1. It's the classic Walking Dead run. I got this actually off the used rack. I highly recommend buying used books. That way these comics get a second life and you are not paying full price. Because let me tell you, the retail on this guy is $59.99. I got it for $9.99. That is the glory of my used rack. I know I should read this. I haven't read this full series all the way through. So I knew I should read this one. And in fact, another reason you should get it from the used rack is that I didn't just get one. I got both volumes of 1 and 2. Definitely over 1,000 pages of Walking Dead for $20. I got them both for $9.99 each. They're a little beaten, but you know, I'm glad I have them, and the price is right. I'm not really super stickler about my used comics, and I think this is mandatory reading. So actually, oh my gosh, I got the first 96 issues of Walking Dead for under $20. That's the reason you should go to your local comic shop, because their used rack was going to be really good. So you can probably in the future expect a video on me reading The Walking Dead. Whether or not I get into all 96 issues at once is a different story. And you know, there's 2 more compendiums after this. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But I got these 2 and I'm very excited. I got them for $20 and I'm glad, because I think that they are stories I should read, and I'm a big Robert Kirkman fan, so I think you guys will like what I have to say about his works too. Now, another reason that you should support your local comic shop is based on the next book I got. I saw it on the shelf there, and I was talking to my local comic guy, and I said, hey, do you think I should buy this? Maybe I could special order it. Is it still in print? He looks it up, and he says, oh man, this is out of print, so if you see it on the shelf, you should buy it. And so I bought it off the shelf, and that book is Irredeemable by Mark Waid and Peter Krause. Now, this is actually a super important book in my collection now because this is a very sentimental piece. Number one, it's out of print, so I'm glad I got it. I know there's a sequel title to it called Incorruptible. I think that's out of print too, so I'm going to try and get my hands on that one very, very, very soon. But for other reasons, Mark Waid is my personal favorite comic book writer, especially when it comes to superhero titles. And so if you guys are Mark Waid fans, then you'll find out that he absolutely loves Superman more than any other character. In his 30-year tenure in the comic book industry, he's actually only gotten to write Superman like a handful of times. So this story would have been one of his takes on Superman, and that philosophy was just, what if Superman went bad? And so Irredeemable was just the story of this character, the Plutonian, going super, super, super bad and, causing mayhem and destruction. And I have read the first 3 volumes. Actually, the series, the hardcover volumes, went out of print a long time ago, so I never had a chance to pick those up. And so now that I have the omnibus for it, I am going to read the entire thing, and I'm so glad because it's a worthy read. The first volumes that I've read, I absolutely loved. I've actually read them twice each. So now to be able to finish out the series, I'm going to be really glad to do that. And so you guys can actually expect a video of that probably coming out pretty soon. But yeah, so Irredeemable by Mark Waid. Super glad to have in my collection. Very excited. I think you guys should read it too. Now, for the books in my collection, I have one more major one, and that is the JLA Omnibus by Grant Morrison. Now, this story, this is also huge. Let's just look at this really quick. Look at this. I didn't want to hold it up so long because it's so heavy. I think it's like 1,500 pages, maybe 2,000 pages. Are they numbered? They're not numbered, but they are heavy. Oh, 1473. That's close to the end. So let's say 1,500 pages. Grant Morrison's JLA roster is one of the most famous in history. DC is always going to be pushing, the newest, latest runs. A lot of the movies are going to be based on the New 52 Justice League run by Jeff Johns, which I think is really great. But it's no JLA by Grant Morrison. I think that this is some of the best DC comics of all time. And if you are a DC fan, I find that series to be necessary reading. You don't need to know everything about the Justice League to go pick it up. It is just top tier writing. I think it is a big blockbuster comics. Everything that title should be, that series is. And I find Grant Morrison sometimes to be a challenging writer because there's so much going on in all of his stories. He's very philosophical, everything is fluid, and I just mean everything about like time and space, and all these ideas are big and broad, and sometimes my understanding of those concepts can limit my experience as a reader. I don't think that happens very much in this series. In fact, I think it is one of the greatest strengths of this series. And so, JLA by Grant Morrison, I'm so excited to pick that up. I am going to try and read that as soon as possible when I finish my other books, so I can review that for you guys, because that is something I am so excited to read. It is a pinnacle DC comic and a very, very, very famous run. So just wait to check that out. Now, the last thing in my haul actually came on January 31st, and it's not a comic. It is a collectible, and it came in the mail January 31st. Thus, it is part of my January comic book haul. It is the DC Multiverse McFarlane Toys Azrael Batman armor from Batman Curse of the White Knight. This is one of my favorite Elseworld series, and it is a love letter to some of my favorite generations of Batman. When I saw this armor slated at Comic-Con from the McFarlane Toys Instagram, I absolutely knew that I had to pick it up. I think the McFarlane Toys line has been amazing in what they are producing for this. I just think they've been really, really, really amazing in what they're putting out for comic-themed content. This is not the only Batman White Knight toy that I have. I actually have another in the mail, and as soon as that gets here, I'm going to record a video for you guys talking about why I think it is one of the... I'm just going to review the line because I think it's one of the best lines. But also, the reason I got this one in particular is because it is based off of one of my favorite series. So, how about you go do this? You go pick this up, then go read the series. Maybe do that in the opposite. Maybe read the series twice and then pick this up. Both volumes are amazing, and this resembles Sean Murphy's amazing design of Azrael Batman. It was the first time I ever saw like a 90s costume revamped to work in the modern era. And so I love this so much, and I love that series. So make sure to go pick it up. It's going to be good. That's all I got for you today. Remember, my name's Cameron. I don't just read comics, I love them. And today I was just collecting them. So if you like my short form content, go check it out. More videos maybe. If you like my long form content, maybe go check out my podcast on Spotify and iTunes. It's called Cameron Reads Comics, and there's new episodes every Wednesday. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.